Yeah, that's true. I'm usually more focused on something else. Oh.
Alrighty, are we live? We are live, I believe.
Live.
All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to, this is week 3 for Purdue Overwatch in the NECC. My name is Riyuu.
I'm Karsten.
All right. And I believe in the background here, we do kind of have things kicking off here. We have a very special set of games today. This is actually an in-house game of Purdue Purple versus Purdue Indigo. So I think we're going to go right in here just because we had some delays. And it seems like we're on Lijiang Tower. There's some bans earlier made to Pharah and Zen. And it seems like both teams here are playing a very brawl-heavy comps, which makes sense a lot here for this map style. The point yet has not unlocked, but it seems like the red team, Indigo, has already made their hold onto the point, and they're trying to keep hold till they capture it here.
Yeah, a lot of pressure just immediately off the bat, obviously starting right into this game. NBC that may almost fall, use the crowd, you almost fall, use the Zarya bubble, so longevity is going to be the name of the game for Purdue Indigo here.
Yeah, absolutely. Going in here with just both teams trying to back and forth as much as they physically can. It seems like the tank going down for Purdue Purple here with trying to push up as much as they can, but unfortunately Zarya with the ability to not only outlast, but gain damage over time with the charge. She was able to gain through all the pokes. So it seems like Purdue Purple is responding with the Junker Queen pick.
That's a clean first fight for Purdue Indigo. Just that game plan of we're going to use the Sim TP, we're going to go straight to point, and we're just going to bunker down. You know, we got Zarya bubbles for days, we got CPs around the map, we have Lucio Boop. You know, you're not entering into this space. As long as we hold it, it is ours.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Stalt's coming out here finally for both teams, going in with the Sim wall from Purdue Indigo. And getting a very clean team wipe here, unfortunately for Purdue Purple, having used the Mercy ult there to try and give them sustain, but getting caught in that grab, but then making the switch over to the Kiriko. It seems like they're making a switch over to just a much faster playstyle comp because of how much Zarya and this team comp with this Metroid benefits from staying up over time.
Yeah, when you take those slower fights, you just build ults and...
The Junker Queen, they're going down very quickly, unfortunately. They tried to take a different angle there from the high ground, but the Zarya still sitting there with that high charge. Going in now on that momentum, the Mei dropping the ult there.
I mean, it's just these ults from Purdue Indigo. Like, they played that fight so slow, they built almost all their ults, and now they're just taking fight after fight, going immediately with an ult, wasting no time, just saying, hey, we're up so many ults because of how we're playing this. We're just gonna...
Absolutely. Now we have to see if Purdue Purple is able to get that touch there, swapping to the Doomfist to be able to do so. They will get it here, rushing on to the point, which kind of puts Purdue Purple at a little bit of disadvantage, but a fight is still able to be had. Purdue Purple engaging with the beat to give them the engage, but the response with the Kitsune Rush, that'll give them a lot of momentum there. Unfortunately, a very strong engage ult that will give them the speed and the power that they need to keep hold on to this point. And Purdue Indigo will take that first round on Lijiang Tower.
I mean, that's just about as good as you want a first map to go. 100-0. Not really any signs of contesting that point. Even with the beat drop there, you know, Purdue Purple, you're getting all that overhealth, and it's just immediately evaporating because you have such a bunker with those Sim turrets all over the point, and that Kitsune Rush, just that 1.5 times attack speed. It's so difficult to contest space held by Purdue Indigo. So we're going to have to see how Purdue Purple can respond here, how they can break through, and, you know, how they're going to look to just put on enough pressure that Purdue Indigo can't slow it down.
For sure, yeah. And it's this map in general, I feel like all 3 points are very snowball heavy, so once one team does get a hold of the point, it is very, very difficult to push them down, and Purdue Indigo definitely taking advantage of that with the comp that they're playing.
Yeah, lots of swaps on the side of Purdue Indigo, though. They're trying the Reinhardt, and they're trying the Soldier 76, so looks like they're trying their own form of bunker, where we're going to speed our Rein to point, and we're going to play behind that shield.
Yep, taking advantage of that white room. Very common strategy to do the Mei wall that might be dangerous there for the Reinhardt, but fortunately his team is able to break it there for him to be able to stay in the line of sight of his support. The Reaper there on Team Purple taking the Soldier down in this back and forth over in the white room, but the Mei going down on Purdue Purple side. So now things are evening up here, and the tanks are still able to hold some of their space here. The Reinhardt charging in and getting the Kiriko pick, which will be huge there, now lacking their main source of healing there for Purdue Purple. But the Reaper on the Reinhardt is going to maintain a lot of pressure, so it's going to be very, very difficult here for him to be able to push in, that too without his main source of healing. So unfortunately, they will have to back out here, and Purdue Purple was able to capture that point.
Yeah, and now, once again, Purdue Purple's got that setup that they want. They have the Zarya just walking forward, taking all this space, and even in that hectic sort of trade fight that, you know, Purdue Indigo might want, where they want to get those kills and they want to stop Purdue Purple from setting up, it's still not enough, and the Zarya has just been such a force to be reckoned with.
Yes, but unfortunately here we see Indigo coming up with the Rise Shatter, but no! Before that could even come up, and ult charge, the Reaper going down for Indigo, unfortunately, and now Indigo just going down, unfortunately, one by one, but no, the Rise Shatter! He thinks he can still hold on to hope, get some picks there, but no! He wasn't able to have his sustain there to keep him up, even though he was able to take down, I believe, 3 people.
I mean, yeah, that was a great execution of the Earth Shatter, taking down 3, but just unfortunately, without that follow-up, you know, without the support there, when you already lost so many, you're not able to get the follow-up, even when you made such a great play. So now
exactly. Oh, the Reaper ult going off here from Purdue Purple, trying to go in aggressive and get some picks, and they do get one off the Kiriko, but the Ryan punishing by pushing him off of the map, not letting him take such an aggressive play down without a fight, but the Zarya able to capitalize since the team turned around to deal with the Reaper that went in.
Reinhardt just saying, hey, you might have just blossomed my team, but I'm not letting you get away with that one.
Yep, you're getting punished for doing something like that,
map.
buddy. Now, the Zarya here, Purdue Purple coming in with the grab, getting 2, I believe, there, and getting the kills on them. The Kitsune Rush helping to secure those kills. The Kitsune coming out for Indigo as well, but unfortunately, the grab getting 2 very quickly. They're getting that little bit of stagger there on the Mei as well. Yeah. And now with the point ticking down.
That's a question of whether they can even touch. Is that Lucio's speed going to be enough to get to the point before we reach the 100 checkpoint? But it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, unfortunately not. The Lucio trying to go around the side there to touch, but it will not work for them, unfortunately. That is a map win for Purdue Purple.
Yeah, I mean, 100-0 back-to-back. Purdue Purple came ready to play on Lijiang for sure with that Zarya just controlling so much space, stopping, you know, representing both so much damage and so much durability with those bubbles that, you know, even if you get a pick, even if you put pressure onto a member of my team, I'm gonna bubble you, I'm gonna keep you up, and then I'm gonna laser down whoever was hunting you down. It was just such an effective strategy to be employed there.
Absolutely, yeah, especially with how I believe strong Zarya is in general right now. I believe that's a very common kind of take with how things are going right now, especially with her perks of you being able to get extra charge with being able to right click and stuff like that. Like I said, the nature of the map being very snowball heavy. So once you have a high charge Zarya, she can just bunker down in like a little center point there. Yeah, no, it's very, very, very difficult to take that down. And also the Mei pick into the Reinhardt, even just in the beginning, they didn't know they were playing into a Reinhardt, but it ended up playing really highly in their favor.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, it really looks like Indigo was wanting to play more of a front to back, sort of like a pressure the tank, see how we can get in, see how we can push you back and take your space. But when you're up against a Zarya, all shooting at the tank is doing is feeding that charge, you know, getting her up and up. It was rare in those fights we saw her charge below 70. So just being able to really, really block out any of those frontal pushes, just all the angles they tried to take, and especially on Lijiang, it could be really hard to find angles around, you know, it's onto that backline and onto that. So just played very, very well.
Yeah, and now honestly, I'm understanding the bans a little bit better with, I believe, you know, I don't remember which team banned the Zenyatta, but I'm pretty sure with a high charge Zarya, one of a very common pick that I know people do tend to make is they just go, you know what, I'm going to Discord that Zarya. And that's how I'm going to deal with it, because nothing else is going to take her down, especially not getting near her. So I understand that ban now, especially if that was made by Purdue Purple.
Yeah, because, you know, despite representing all that power and despite those bubbles being such a good tool, her health bar is low for a tank. And so, you know, with that help of a Discord orb or just any tool to make that Zarya more vulnerable, she's really easy to just shoot at. But I guess without the aid of those, that's the idea. Without the aid of the Discord orb, she's just going to stand like any other tank would. Yeah.
And another thing too, I feel like that I don't want to understate is there were a lot of early picks there on Indigo's, I guess, flex support, or just generally their main source of healing, at least on that second map there, which is also huge, right? Like, even if you are able to maintain some hold there and maintain some pressure when you're getting through a Zarya, a high charge Zarya, a Mei wall, you get through all that stuff. But, oh, what's that? Our main source of healing's down now. That's so unfortunate. So that also felt very intentional from purple.
Yeah.
So that's also a very, very big play on their part.
Very strong target priority for sure. Realizing, without the main source of healing, this front to back comp, this Reinhardt, this Soldier, this Reaper, they're really going to need a lot more healing just to face this Zarya. So let's take it down. Let's cut that out. No healing Afuda for you.
Yeah, so now I'm very interested to see where, after how that map went, where things are going to go from here. I believe the next point will be a Flashpoint map. So it'll be interesting there. I'm predicting a Zarya ban, potentially, some salt there. And seeing the picks come in now. Oh, never mind. It's not Flashpoint next. It is King's Row.
Okay, so the Reinhardt might be making a return.
Map. Yes, the Reinhardt. Ooh, the Honorable Reinhardt.
Reinhardt.
That's one thing that I feel like I miss so much with Overwatch 2 now is we don't get to see the Honorable Reinhardt 1v1s anymore.
It's really so rare. Yeah, no, it's a sad day for r/Ryan veins everywhere.
But yeah, especially with this being an in-house game here between two Purdue teams, I could see it just being, an honor amongst teams duel just made. Just, screw it. Let's make this a pure test of skill. Let's make this the Ryan v. Ryan duel. That'd be so fun to watch. Honestly, I miss it so much. But yeah, the bans are still left to be seen here, and we should get news of that in just a moment. But yeah, I could still very much see the Zarya ban just coming out just in case. I could definitely also see like a Reaper ban, a Mei ban.
There's so many things on the table there. There were so many components of that composition that made it strong. That's why it's called a composition. That's why it's a team game. It's about all 5 characters and the tools that they have. So taking one piece out of the tower might be enough to make it fall. So it's just a matter of what Indigo assesses to be what the biggest threat was there. Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, no, we're going to be waiting here just a little bit longer for some map pick bans here. Again, there might be a lot of deliberation going on, understandably so. Like we just mentioned, there's a lot of components here for what they could choose to ban, because they're definitely, as much as we're talking about that one high charge Zarya threat, it definitely wasn't just at all. There's a lot of cohesion there. I could very easily see there being, if they're really feeling spicy, I could see there being a Lucio ban. Screw you on playing on a map such as King's Row and being able to play Lucio. And it seems like our bans have come in with one of our bans being Wrecking Ball and the other one being the Reaper. Okay. Yeah, I definitely see, Reaper ban was definitely one of those, I could have seen that coming perhaps, because the Reaper and the Zarya work so well together. Where Zarya having that smaller health pool doesn't matter so much when you have that Reaper having, a health bar almost equivalent to a tank with that lifesteal keeping him up so well. Such a great recipient for the bubble too. It's I'm in your face, I have a bubble. What are you gonna do? You're gonna charge the Zarya? Oh yeah. But the Wrecking Ball. The Wrecking Ball on King's Row. Maybe there's something here that we don't know about, a secret weak spot for one of the teams. Maybe one of the tanks is a Wrecking Ball aficionado that we don't know about. But it's an interesting pick. I can understand it though, because I have seen some teams who are able to play that like run around ball tracer comp, even on a map like King's Row that has the narrow alleyways, done really correctly against a team that wants to play huddled up altogether. Does not work very well. And now loading into these maps here, these are some very, very interesting picks. For one, we are seeing the Honorable Ryan 1v1. The Honorable Ryan 1v1. I'm excited. But yeah, on Indigo's side, we see the Soldier Mei with the Mercy Zenyatta. And on Purple side, we're seeing the Sombra Venture with the Lifeweaver Kiriko. Definitely two very different strategies here. Granted, Indigo here are going to be on defense. It's more like very unique combination of characters. As far as main support and flex support go, technically Mercy and Zenyatta do fit that build, but those are not two supports you typically see together. Oh yeah, especially because of the low healing output. This is going to be them wanting to play very much to just catch people out as quickly as possible. Are we rolling out on the Lifeweaver? I assumed it would just be to get a pedal up to that high ground, but no, we are running the Lifeweaver. Yeah, going in here, trying to play for this choke here. The team probably wanting to make through on this choke as quickly as possible, especially the Sombra probably TPing in behind there unawares. And the Rhine on Indigo going down very quickly here in this trade, despite the fact that Indigo had that Discord orb on the Reinhardt, but it did not work. And then just pushing in with that momentum, trying to get the rest of their team here now that they do not have their protection. And them not being able to really fight back here, unfortunately. The Ryan coming back for Purdue Indigo and trying to fight. No, the Firestar getting the Zen in the back with a sniper-like shot. Going in here even further, knowing his team's going to capture the point for him here.
the Reinhardt on Purdue Purple, and then getting pulled out by the Life Weaver just in case when he gets too low. Going in with the Shatter too, getting 2 people here, really making use of that momentum. The Mercy, knowing there's not much to be done, going in for the reset.
I mean, yeah, we were talking about the Honorable Ryan 1v1, but this looks more like an Honorable Ryan Crusade right now, with Flamehater just tearing through Purdue Indigo, not just their front line, but the back line too, building that Shatter so quickly.
And now he's clearly planning something cheeky. He knows that there's a chance they don't know that he's here. Another member of his team waiting there onto the high ground, trying to gather some attention, so they especially don't know he's hiding here in this little alleyway. Yeah. How funny would it be if he had Shatter here? Oh, them getting the Sombra on the high ground. Unfortunately, her getting caught out there by probably 2 or 3 people on the team. They looked for the Reinhardt there in that alleyway. They were able to see him, unfortunately for him. The Venture trying to capitalize in on the little bit of distraction, but punishing with the Shatter. Unfortunately, getting counterpinned there, so couldn't follow up on it anymore. And now continuing to keep this hold there. They kind of have their momentum able to come back here, especially with the sustain from the Mercy Valkyrie. The AMP coming in and getting 3 on Purdue Indigo, getting 2 kills here on 2 people who are potentially coming up on their DPS ults here on Purdue Indigo. So unfortunately, they're now having to force themselves backwards. You know, not having the sustain there seems to be really playing into a detriment here for Purdue Indigo. The Zenyatta also going down here to the Sombra, wanting to maintain that space, and now Purdue Purple having captured that 2nd checkpoint here.
Yeah, that EMP is such a powerful ultimate, just crippling the entirety of the team with 1 Q. But, I mean, it's just insane, the efficiency of ult usage from Purdue Purple to just, you know, click 1 button and that's so many people down, like with the Shatter and the EMP.
Yes, of course, and you had here the Sombra trying to get the hack in on that Reinhardt to cripple him as quickly and as early as possible. The Zen going down, the Sombra hunting him down in the back line. He saw him immediately and went for him right away. And now capitalizing onto that momentum, going in with the Venture ult to try and get some in the back line here. The Venture ult will find one in the Mei after she threw out her ult there, potentially trying to get anyone who isn't paying attention. The Mercy even rezzing the Mei, so now the numbers are a little more even up onto the board. The Lifeweaver pulling out the Reinhardt on Purdue Purple side.
I was questioning the Lifeweaver pick, but those pulls onto the Reinhardt has really enabled Flamehater to just kind of hold W, you know, I'm just swinging my hammer, I'm holding W, I want to get in range, I want to throw out fire strikes.
Absolutely, yep, going in for the Shatter pick here and pushing the, not getting the off the map, unfortunately there with the pin, just a little bit under. Two falling off the map there, maybe?
That's unusual.
Yeah, I didn't get a very good view of that there, unfortunately. We'll have to look into that later, but now having to unfortunately back off because of those 2, let's say, picks.
Yeah, you know what?
Picks that were getting on the
just
DPS
the pressure
there.
being exerted from Purdue Indigo to make both of the Purdue Purple DPS fall off the map. I mean,
hey, no, we need a soft reset real quick. Hold on.
I mean, I've heard it's hard to contest 3rd points on King's Row, but I didn't think it was so hard that you would drive yourself into the lava.
Hey, they're both playing very, very mobile DPS here, which is very key to their playstyle. They're playing into that aggressive lifestyle. The 5-man EMP followed up by the Shatter from Purdue.
Yeah, I mean, foreshadowing, I guess. I was just talking about how that Shatter and that EMP can be such effective ults to cripple so much of the team simultaneously. But to see them used in tandem, your Reinhardt can't shield. You know, your team just
can't do anything about
loses
that.
access to so many abilities, and now it's just hammered down.
Unfortunately,
most of the team. Oh, and the Mei ice block.
The Mei trying to go in now to get that stall because unfortunately they're already down 1 pick with the Soldier having gone down for Purdue Indigo. The Mei now going down 2. Unfortunately, the Ryan trying to hold his best with the shield. The Sombra there getting the picks there on the squishies in the back line. The Shatter also coming up there to make sure no one touches, no matter what.
Yeah, these pushes from Purdue Purple have been so coordinated and so, like, it's just every single piece of the puzzle is coming together, where my Ryan holds forward, my Sombra's hacking you, we have the defensive supports to just keep us up, keep us going, and it's been brutal. It's been just destruction. It's been a crusade.
No, it's extremely intense, and honestly I feel like fast Ryan gameplay is often the most intense Ryan gameplay. As we see here, players are also having a really good time with all of this.
Yeah, it's good to see the spirits up.
Oh yeah. You know, King's Row, I feel like everyone, even in scrim settings, everyone gets real excited and a little bit silly when it comes to playing King's Row.
For sure.
And yeah, especially playing the kind of comp that they are, Purdue Purple, they are really, really, really wanting to capitalize on the momentum, which is exactly usually how King's Row likes to be played, or people prefer to play King's Row just because of the nature of the map and how it's laid out. Another very kind of snowball-heavy map, especially when you're playing Rhine v Rhine comps.
Oh, okay, so Purdue Indigo switching the Brig here.
The Brig Life Weaver.
The double main support composition, and an unusual one at that. We're gonna have to see what they have in store here. You know, seeing our game plan wasn't quite working there on defense, so let's switch it up. Let's try some new things. We've got the Hanzo as well. Hanzo, a very powerful character on this map.
For sure.
So many small hallways, so many like just little doors. Shoot one arrow, you're down.
And also a lot of shield break there. Let's not forget about that with the Hanzo spam. And now also the swaps on Purdue Purple. Let's not forget they swapped the Ana and the Mei here. The Sombra going in early on anyone who's trying to push in from Purdue Indigo's side, catching out the Rhine with that Mei
my goodness.
Wall. Very, very efficient there.
Yeah, such a brutal dismantling of a character with so much health. Just can't run to your team. You're getting pinned into the wall and you are gone.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of people there tend to do that with the Mei. The Mei getting picked off there on Purdue Indigo's side as well.
Yeah, and even when they're retreating to spawn, they do not let up the pressure. It is just a very, very strong game from Purdue Purple, not letting Indigo breathe.
Not at all, exactly. Especially because if they do let any of them in with the amount of sustain that they've seen from their team comp, I don't think it's going to go very well for them. So they're just wanting to make sure they poke them out as early as possible. Putting up the Mei wall again to try and catch up the Rhine like they did last time, but it will not work this time. They were prepared. Catching out two on Purdue Indigo's side, who went in a little too far, unfortunately, wanting to get that Rhine pick. They were so sure they could get just like last time.
Yeah, I mean, when you have to dedicate so many resources to keeping your Rhine out of that ice wall, when you have to, like, the ice wall goes up, you have to use everything to save him. Well, now you're falling to the Reinhardt on your back line, building the shatter and just taking everyone out. So even when the Mei wall is not directly killing your tank, it's creating so much chaos and discord within your team that you're not going to be able to stay up.
Now Purdue Purple, because of these plays and because of how they've been playing, are now coming up on their first ult here in this game. The Sombra EMP is back. We might see something dangerous with that, as well as the Mei ult, especially if she gets a very dangerous roll here. That could mean a very quick pick here. No, the Mei goes down early in the fight. The Sombra retaliating to get that pick on the Life Weaver in the back line, so now Indigo lacking their main source of healing. But no, everyone else going down.
Yeah,
Purple keeping up their momentum, even though their Mei went down early, using that EMP there.
They're just playing these fights so cleanly. They're not overspending ults. They're not, like... Oh, really, it's just, we have our game plan for this fight. We're going to use EMP. We're going to walk at them. They use EMP. They walk on them, and it's just, you know, everything they want. So now we're finally seeing a switch onto the Junker Queen.
The Junker Queen. They want that faster walk-in there. They know that the Mei wall is very, very dangerous, so they want to potentially run in through this choke as quickly as possible. And no, even target the Mei if they can, but the Mei was ready this time with that ult that she wasn't able to use last fight. Getting that pick onto the enemy Mei, shutting her down, and then going after the Ana there.
Close.
Unfortunately. My bad. I thought the Ana was on the enemy team. I got confused with all the colors. The Mei spray made me think that the Ana was on, on the other team.
There's so much going on. We're all just booking a room at this one hotel. There's a Junker Queen. There's a Reinhardt. I don't know who's on whose side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, switching it up, definitely what you want if you're Purdue Indigo. The Rhine Mirror, honorable though it may be, is not working out for you. So yeah, someone with a little more self-sustain.
The Junker Queen getting walled off there too. Now responding with the Rhine shatter there to try and get some of the backline since the Junker Queen was caught out, but no one getting caught out with that, unfortunately. Going after the Life Weaver there in the middle of the chaos, even though he was trying to go for the Junker Queen pick, the Rhine, and then getting punished for it by JQ in response. Things are looking really even here with the Mei going down as well on Purdue Purple.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Finally, Indigo being able to break through the fortress from Purple, being able to take down Reinhardt. That's just enough for them to break through, but Reinhardt dying so early and so far up that he might be able to get a retest here. Let's see how they play it.
He's waiting for that charge. He does it. He gets walled off there, but unfortunately, he dies to it. The EMP coming out, getting all 5 on Purdue Indigo, and then getting the kill on the Brig there. But unfortunately, with the way that EMP works, the ult has not gone down for the Soldier. The Soldier only able to get 1 pick there, unfortunately, before going down. But the Junker Queen able to follow up and get 3 in the middle of all the chaos.
And if I'm Indigo, that's what I want to see. They use so many ults just to not even contest the point there. They used EMP, they used the tree. Yeah, I mean, now as Indigo, you're in a maybe not a great spot. You also don't have any ults, but at the very least, they're not going to have any. So now this is just some dry fights, and it's about how they play these dry fights now with the Joker Queen.
Absolutely, especially with Purdue Purple here coming up with, they have the Rhine Shatter, which he's definitely going to be looking for here, and maybe they're able to predict on Indigo's side. Maybe they're able to wall it off with the Mei. That's their best shot here, or they're able to just sit around the corner against that, but the Mei ult also waiting for them if they choose to huddle around a corner. Going here, getting all 5 with the Rhine Shatter, and then following up on that, getting 3 kills off of it. The Mei wall, unfortunately, can't save you once all 5 of you have been shattered.
No, don't talk to me till I've had my bad shatters as Flaminator, knocking down the entire enemy team with 1 use of the ults.
Beautiful gameplay here from Flaminator on Purdue Purple.
Now we're just hunting down the Brigida.
Hunting down stragglers here, wanting to play off of that momentum just like they did during the previous round. Waiting for themselves to group up here. Charging
Back
the EMP
already.
Also, with that occasional just constant poke.
Like
Looking here on
right
4
here.
potentially. Yep, 4 people caught in the back line with 2 picks followed up immediately. The communication must be on point here for Purdue Purple. Going in especially with the Nano as well on the Reinhardt to make sure they really finish off the team here, seeing as they're getting them here in their spawn. This is a very, very aggressive hold here.
And if you look at the meters again for Purple, we're almost back to another shatter.
Yep.
We just got a 5-man shatter 40 seconds ago, and now we're looking to get another one.
Maybe another one, who knows? Yep, the Sombra back at it again, trying to get that ult charge. She's already up to about 28%, 29% here. They're trying to push her out there, trying to group up as best as they can because they are working off almost 4 ults here. Purdue Indigo wanting to go in. The pull to make sure the Bastion doesn't go down super quickly, seeing as this is probably going to be the last fight here for this point if things don't go well. The Shatter coming out from Purdue Purple, finding 2, getting the kill on the Lifeweaver, who did go down there. The Rampage coming out from the Junker Queen in response to the kill, wanting to go in with that sustain. The Brig Rally as well, trying to keep up the team as best as they can despite the picks. Things are looking a little chaotic here. People are not going down yet, even though some picks have been made. Getting that Brig, whose rally did go down, so she doesn't have as much sustain here anymore. They're able to play cover here around the point, Purdue Indigo, and just keep living as much as they can. They're not going down here without a fight. The EMP catching 4 here, though.
Oh my
Coming back, the
goodness.
Sombra charging that EMP the whole time, played off, and it finally
Sombra play.
finally got them that fight win that they were looking for, the EMP.
I mean, Indigo, like, picking off the Rhine, you'd think, okay, now we're going to walk them down, but they played so well around that Mei and that Lifeweaver just to stay up and wait for the Rhine to get back. And then by the time Rhine's back, now we have EMP again, charging so quickly. Such a, like, I mean, just so well played from Resolve to always have that EMP online.
For sure. Not only that, but also being able to catch out as many people as possible. I think there was, at minimum, I feel like the lowest there was a 3-person EMP, but most EMPs were 4 or 5-person, which I feel like normally is very difficult to do. Yes, granted, they were playing a brawl-heavy comp, so you're going to find them in a lot of bunched-up situations, but even then, being able to get all of them, and also, if I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure Resolve didn't even go down immediately after using the EMP, which I feel like can be very easily mistaken or done by a Sombra, but that wasn't happening.
For sure, yeah. It's because it's not only the speed at which those ults were built, you know, it's not only that we were seeing a Shatter every other fight and an EMP every other fight, but it's also just they were placed so well and timed so correctly that you're not dying for them. You know, it's also a very common thing with that Rhine Shatter is you're getting in there, and even though you got that big body and that big health pool, you're still falling a lot, but no, they were just barely able to hold on because the coordination of this plays and the use of that Lifeweaver. You know, I was going into it, I was questioning, I'm like, when do we see Lifeweaver? But there you have it, just to enable those aggressive plays and let them really go in. So it's, you know, once you've gotten your Shatter, we'll come back. We'll kill them later.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, who needs to play something like Baptiste or Ana and keep up sustain when you can just let your Rhine do his thing and then be like, all right, come back to me real quick. We'll heal you up and then go off and do your thing again. So they went with that strategy and it worked extremely well for them, especially with being able to get the follow-up with the Sombra on both maps, but with the Venture on the attack side, and then even the Mei walls from Purdue Purple were very brutal, especially playing into the Reinhardt. You know, I feel like a lot on Kings Row you see, you know, a Mei wall is basically a death sentence for you, and that happened a lot. They they were able to go around that a lot with the Junker Queen eventually getting that first point there on attack. But yeah, no, they were just able to like keep up that sustain as much as they could, just like you said. You know, even if the Rhine went down, the rest of the team was able to keep hold so quickly and keep pressure till the Rhine came back, and then they just were back with something again, either the Rhine going into the back line, an ult, something. They just did not let down, which is what you want to see in a good brawl comp.
Yeah, Purdue Purple just felt like such a unit, such a team, you know? It was just enabling each other to make so many plays, you know, through the May walls, through the Rhine shatters, through those fire strikes, putting up good pressure. If you're Purdue Indigo here, you know, there's a lot of questions we got to be asking about how we can break down that team and like really get into it, because you discovered even when you took down that Rhine on that last fight, it wasn't enough to break through the rest of the team. So we're really got to figure out, you know, maybe start looking at the supports more. Maybe you know, that Lifeweaver and that Kiriko, maybe that was too much of a problem, just keeping their team up forever. Maybe that's an angle for them.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And then also now going into this next map here that they're probably going to be discussing in the background here, us getting some news on that for now. Going into Esperanza. So a push map, and having made one of two bans, one of which being Lifeweaver.
I mean,
they heard a little bit of how Lifeweaver seems to be enabling so much aggressive play. They said, we're not doing that for a push map.
We're not doing that anymore. And Esperanza is also a map where those dive compositions become very powerful. You know, there's so many different angles and so many ways to get in and out and get those health packs on this map that, you know, if we have the capacity to run the Tracer, maybe now we start shutting down that backline. Maybe now, you know, we see what we can do to pressure back to front instead of front to back when we've noticed, hey, this Reinhardt is not dying.
Yeah, now I think we need to take some other angle. We need to go around something. I don't know. Yeah, no, I was going to make a comment about that, of how interesting would it be based on bans or something if they choose to force them into sort of a dive comp. Oh. It seems a little less likely. It seems like our other band's going to be Genji. Yep. You know, which, yeah, I feel like Tracer Genji or either one of the two tends to be a very popular pick here on push, especially on Esperanza. So we'll see here what they choose to do. You know, maybe the ball pick might come out since the ball didn't get banned this time. So you know, they might know something. Yeah, it is a very good map for ball. The ball Tracer comp with, like, you know, the Baptiste Zenyatta, something like that. I've even seen the Sigma comps come out. I feel like there's a lot of flexibility here on a map like Esperanza because, like you said, there's high grounds you can play around.
Something so interesting about this game is that really there's so many compositions you can run, and even when you feel like these series are going, you know, very favorably for your opponent, you can always try more things. And on the side of Purdue Indigo, we're seeing the Mercy Zenyatta again, but now we have the Reaper plus the Diva going to be that very fast pressure, and we can pressure any target at any time, sort of. But on the side of Purdue Purple, we do see the Wrecking Ball.
Yep, we're playing the ball Tracer comp. So yeah, they're going to be being very mobile. And if I was Dynastine over on Indigo, I'd be watching my back a little bit because that can be real dangerous. But we'll see how that goes. If he chooses to sit next to his Reaper or his Soldier, ideally, we'll see how that plays out for them.
Especially when you're running Mercy and Zenyatta, those characters can be, you know, very vulnerable if not played correctly. So whether the Wrecking Ball can kind of pressure those characters is going to be a big question for this game.
Yeah, no, for sure. Already looking here at the Zenyatta, who he's able to find in a narrow alleyway, but that Zenyatta obviously not being able to go down without a fight, discording him immediately, probably wanting to keep that discord on him as much as physically possible so he goes down quick. Keeping control of that high ground, Purdue Indigo, with their more dive-heavy comp, ideally so, them wanting to do that. Getting the Echo here down to literally 1 HP and not being able to pick her off on Purdue Purple's side. Unfortunate for them. The 1v1 going down between the DPS there in that little alleyway, and the Tracer on Purdue Purple side able to take down the Soldier there, so them now lacking that pressure. But no, the Mercy using her res there to be able to bring the numbers back up. The trade's happening once again. The Zenyatta unfortunately going it down to the mobile Kiriko. The Echo going down here, but doesn't matter. Purdue Purple able to catch up on picks, kill 3, and they're not the first to move the bot here on this map, wanting to finish off the Diva here, get the D-mech, maybe even finishing off this kill here, not wanting to let her re-mech. Yes, they will.
Yeah, I mean, when you have that Mercy Zenyatta backline, your heals are kind of on a, you know, 3 to 4 day shipping where, you know, you can only really focus the healing on 1% at a time. So when they can move around so quickly and pressure one, pressure another, oh my goodness.
Getting that quick pick there on the Soldier. They were just moving back from spawn and they said, no, we're going to keep up the momentum. We're going to keep up the speed going in with the ball knocking them up, and then the Tracer finishing off the kill just like you want to see there. The D.Va trying her best to try and push people back since she doesn't want to let them just sit there in her spawn for free. Getting out there, able to push them back, but it seems like Purdue Purple is going to be able to capture that first checkpoint there for them. The Lucio here, which I wasn't able to pick out that they had the Lucio yet so far, but the Lucio able to get 2 quick picks there in the middle of all the chaos of them wanting to push out people from their spawn.
I feel like that Lucio is definitely usually such an unsung hero. You know, it's that casual healing, but then now he's really helping with these dives and really helping finish those people off and really helping those teams get where they want to be.
Oh yeah, the pulse bomb coming out from Purdue Purple. Unfortunately, not getting a stick there onto the Reaper. Ult's coming out here for Purdue Indigo because they've been sitting in the back line for a while now. Obviously, they'd want to use them. The D.Va bomb being used for the remake and getting one in the Pharah. Not as much pressure now for them on that high ground. Now going and following up on the Tracer, who was sitting up on the high ground here as well. Being able to get out now to the rest of her team. Maybe here this is where Purdue Indigo is able to hold their line a little bit better now that they have the team pressure, the spawn advantage. Them wanting to continue to push them back here. They're able to keep up that momentum since all their characters are so mobile. They're able to come back very, very quickly even when they go down here.
Yeah, such a like just suffocating game from Purdue Purple. Having all this speed, it's really hard to ever slow down if you're Purdue Indigo. How do I get this Lucio off me? How do I get this ball off me? How do I get this Tracer off me?
The Mercy there, separating her off, killing 3 there with the chaos created by the mines there, dropped off by the Wrecking Ball.
Just the Wrecking Ball drive-by, slamming through 3 people and all of them subsequently falling. That's kind of beautiful.
Yup, that's why this comp is so dangerous. You know, you have either the ball choosing to set up or the ball choosing to follow up on the chaos created by the rest of his team. The stick onto the Brigitte in her spawn. That was dirty. They were not looking for that and just expecting the Tracer to be right around the corner and then getting the pick onto the Mercy afterwards. As a result, you know, potentially wanting to look in there for a Death Blossom there in the middle of the chaos, but no, wanting to round back up with the rest of his team, understandably so. Going back here, waiting. This is going to be very, very close here for Purdue Indigo to be able to get their last touch here. Wanting to go in aggressively with the TP, getting that Death Blossom off, seeing if they can get a pick. Unfortunately, no. And not only that, Flaminator on that ball, getting a pick onto the Brig once more. The Mercy unable to stay alive either in the middle of all this chaos, but no, she's able to fly out there, at least sustain for a little bit longer here. The Doomfist pick coming out to be able to sustain a little bit of that mobility. The support ults, both support ults coming out here from Purdue Purple, being able to give them a lot of sustain with that. But the Pharah, the mobile high ground pick, being able to just permanently stay in the sky. I do not think we've been able to see her go down here whatsoever. And the ball with the mines there too will be very dangerous on a closed off point like that. And they're able to hold it. That'll be a very quick, very clean 3-0 there for Purdue Purple in this series.
I mean, that was just such a cleanly played map. Like we said, that dive is so strong in this map, and if you can't match it to the same extent, it's just all the way to your spawn with that Lucio's